Hi guys, welcome. My name's Charlie from Qual. Just reaching out to everybody, seeing what's happening out in the big wide world, and just introducing us as a little helper, as a little get together on a Friday afternoon, just to sort of introduce what we do, what we can help with, and if you guys have got any questions, fire them through, and we will get to them towards the end of the chat. And hopefully, we can be of assistance and helping you guys have a grateful time working at home. I am the head of professional services. We look after here, there, and everywhere to do with IT, computers, laptops, desktops, servers, SANs, you name it, we've got it covered. We've got a great managed service team who look after hardware, repairs, in warranty, out of warranty. We can cover all those kind of bases. We've got a marketing team who have happily helped sort this out for me today. So thank you to those involved. And got a couple of developers as well who are helping us build a lovely website and what have you behind the scenes, who tinker away and do all sorts of fun things that most of us don't understand. But yeah, it's a tough time out there, guys. So hopefully everyone's being safe and being at home. But yeah, it's different. And working from home has been different for the last week or so. And I'm assuming most of you are working from home today. But yeah, it's been different. Different is definitely the word. I know myself, I only live a short walk away from my office, and I have still had to make the change. I am now currently, as you can see, sitting in my conservatory, which is it's nice. It's not the work environment that you normally do, but it's been good. It's nice to be at home with the family, especially with these things going on around us. But we have adapted, and I think everybody's adapting at the moment, and that's the kind of mood everybody's in. Is everybody's just making do with what they can. I know my colleagues are doing the same situation, and they call me non-stop with their little queries and questions they have about their computers and what have you. I know we've had issues with things like people's monitors not working or not being on the right one. And those are quick and easy things to resolve, especially when you have somebody you can call or you can talk to. Hopefully you guys have somebody, or if not, you can contact people like us, and we can obviously help you to get those little niggles resolved. But on top of that, we've also got a security team, and obviously security nowadays has been a big topic, especially with now that we're working from home. Security is heightened even more, with people now trying to dial in from their home machines and use their home machines, which may not be fit for purpose to start with, but companies are going to have to make do and make changes and quickly escalate things like security and update people's laptops, desktops to make them suitable to be used to connect to your corporate environments. I myself had to adjust our machines that weren't necessarily made to work from home and now are suitable to work from home. And we can help with that. We can advise you on what to use, what not to use, what systems to put in place if you don't have them, or how to adjust your systems so that they are fit for purpose. Nobody wants to have somebody's home machine connected into your office to find out that they haven't got antivirus, or they haven't got the latest updates. That's not going to be good for anybody, and it just becomes a headache. So guys, make sure you've got the latest Windows update if you're running Windows. Make sure you've run the latest patches. Make sure you've got the latest Apple Mac systems if you're running Apple. And same for Linux, guys. I'm sure they'll be already updating, but if you don't, please make sure to run the latest updates. It's going to save the IT guys a lot of time fixing things. Make sure to realistically only try and use the connections when you need them. VPNs can be a drain on people's internet, especially at home. If you've got a lot of people at home nowadays more than ever, people don't want to be struggling with things like that, and especially offices. Offices might not have the capability to have large numbers of VPN connections connecting to their office. They may be able to increase the internet connection there, but if and when you need to use the VPN or don't need to use the VPN, probably a good idea just to drop it off, just to save a bandwidth and save your home internet, same the office internet, and allow everybody else to utilize what they need to do. I know we've got our own services that we can't use outside the office, so we've had to use a VPN to connect into those to get those working. Most people, I don't know if everyone's does the same, but we've got email things. Our email system can work outside the office, and I assume everybody else can do the same. But not everybody's in the same boat. Some people have internal email systems, and they'll need to either open them up if they're not allowed externally. But there's always ways around it. Same with file servers. If you don't have VPN or don't have the VPN abilities, you can use, there's other services out there, things like File Director. File Director is a great choice. Or you can, I know quite a lot of services offering free trials or extended trials for new solutions that may tick a box. You know, if you haven't got things like Office 365, you haven't got SharePoint or OneDrive, and you need to get files out and you don't want to open up things like VPN, you can use things like that to upload your files into the cloud. Alternatively, you could use things like Box, things like Dropbox. There's plenty of them. I can list them as long as my arm about what ones you could use or not to use. They've all got good security features like multi-factor authentication. You can even do single sign-on with things like Office 365 if that's kind of your boat. If you've already got things like that, or if you're using Gmail, some of them also allow you to single sign-on through Gmail. And that would allow you to use one singular password across your entire infrastructure rather than trying to use multiple passwords, which people don't like. People have a tendency to try and remember one password and have it everywhere. So it's always good to have those kind of easy things to remember. Or even password managers. Password managers are great. You know, you've got things like LastPass, Dashlane, Keeper. There's plenty of those you can use as a central repository if you guys can just share passwords around the office because you're not all sitting next to each other and you don't have a way to communicate if you're not using a platform like Teams or anything like that. Another good one we use in our office at the moment is RingCentral. RingCentral has a great bits of functionality. You can message people, you can text people. You've got a great little HUD that shows you what everyone's doing and they're talking to, just in case you don't want to sort of interrupt them, just because obviously you can't see them in the office now. So it's always good to have a visibility of what people are doing if they're free or not. But yeah, there's another quite cool few options is you can video chat through RingCentral. So you can schedule meetings or just start up a meeting straight away and see you guys working from home, see what everybody's doing. It's got a built-in Outlook plugin, so you can easily schedule meetings straight through your Outlook client, and straight away you can email that to whoever wants to join, and then they can accept the meeting, and then you have all the dial-in details already in that body of the message ready to go. You can either click on the link, which downloads a little application, or I believe it runs through the web, or you can dial in using your phone. And all the dial-in details are included in that email. Alternatively, we've got what else have we got? We've got a couple of other systems we use from the cloud, but it's been interesting to see what systems carry on working and what seems to trick us up. But let me check what we have. My colleague just sent me through a couple of things we need to discuss, but on the back of that, we can on one of the questions somebody's asked, there is a note about staff cuts and staff shortages. Obviously, I know companies are struggling out there and people have had to make some tough decisions. It's not been easy for anybody. And I know that some of the first things that companies cut back on is IT support. Most of them like to sort of try and minimize the amount of costings they're spending on IT. And doing so can be tough, but it's never a be all and end all. There is always alternatives. You can outsource it. You can go pay as you go. You can do all sorts of things that will keep the company afloat and keep your IT systems running. We as a company offer remote support to companies that need any help, any first line, second line, third line, remote, physical, you name it, we can help you. We can help you and get through these tough times. So make sure your offices is still, everything's still working, people are still able to access the files they need to access, and they can get back to doing what they do best, and leave the IT to the guys that know how to do it. And you know, if somebody out there does have anything they want us to look at or want us to manage, feel free to drop us a message, give us a call, pop on the chat, and we can happily help you with those kind of questions and things. Obviously, people working from home will have plenty of questions to ask: how they connect to their printers at home, how do they connect their laptops at home to the Wi-Fi or things like that. People, anything like that, it could be in somewhere where the Wi-Fi isn't great. You know, you can obviously buy things like Wi-Fi extenders. You can help boost the Wi-Fi from your wherever it might be situated, the front of your house, to the back of your house. If you want to, then your little office is a bit further away from the Wi-Fi than you might anticipated. And yeah, there's just plenty of different things we can do. You can do power line. Power lines are great. Allows you to plug in adapters into the walls of your house, and then you have another adapter near your modem or router, which enables you then to physically connect to your router rather than using Wi-Fi. They do Wi-Fi versions as well, but they're just quite nice little devices. They're not the fastest. It depends on how old or how new your wiring is in your house, but they do offer a good alternative solution to Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is usually only as good as the cable it's plugged into. Sometimes they're only extending of a Wi-Fi connection to start with. So it depends on what your abilities are, how big your house is. Your house might not be that big at all, and then mine's not. And I've only just put in a new router, and I can get Wi-Fi out the front of the house and the back of the house. But that's easy for me to say that. Some people might struggle to do something like that or something simple like that, but they are normally pretty self-sufficient, and they're pretty easy to use, easy to set up. They come pretty pre-configured out of the box. But as I said, feel free to get in contact, and we can help you to do that. We can help you to get these things plugged in and get them configured, to get you guys up and running to the best of our abilities, with not being able to physically see something or physically go to your office or your home to do so, which is what we would normally do. But obviously we've got to stay safe, we've got to stay at home. So this is what we're now down to. But you can send us a picture, you can send us a video of what you've got, what issues you're having, and you know, we can try and do what we can through the means of video chat or email to resolve that. Another question somebody had from Susan. I'm having trouble connecting with my whole team when we're doing online meetings. Does Qual offer any products that allows easy, quick connection and meeting scheduling? Well, Susan, you've come at a perfect time, because we were just talking about Ring Central, and Ring Central ticks all those kind of boxes. You can schedule meetings with your built-in Outlook client. You don't need to use the client. You can schedule it straight from the application. You have Ring Central, which is the main hub of the app. You then have the Ring Central Meetings app, which you can use to start meetings, schedule meetings, and you can quickly start a meeting. You can schedule one in if you don't want to do one straight away. Or you can use something like the Ring Central chat if you just want to fire a quick message to somebody without having to send a formal email, or to make it too personal. You can just quickly sort of buzz somebody, and they'll get a little message that comes up like a little text, and they can quickly respond using the Ring Central app. Who else have we got here? Robert, I'm having trouble setting up my monitor at home. Do you have any advice on setting up my work remotely? Robert, there could be a number of reasons as to why your monitor's not working. I would suggest checking the cables first, see if you've got an alternative cable, or another quick tip is if you've got a dock for your laptop. If you've got a laptop, if you've got a desktop, see what kind of connections you have on the back of that. Same with your laptop. Your laptop will probably have VGA, DVI. It might have won't have DVI. It'll have HDMI or DisplayPort or mini DisplayPort, and you might have some adapters that you can use. And see what your monitor has. Your monitor might have VGA, which is a little blue, old school looking little blue with screws either side of it. DVI, which is the white with a lot more pins and a little flat blade in the middle. And then you've got HDMI, which most people are probably common with, which is normally what's in the back of your TV. And then you've got DisplayPort, which is the bigger looking HDMI, which normally has a little clip on the top of it to stop it coming out. So check what you've got on your monitor first, and then see what kind of connections you've got, either off your dock. You've got a laptop. If you don't have a dock, see what your laptop's capable of, and then sort of work backwards from that. Really try and see if you've got any spare cables you could swap it over, or try a different connection. I know when I came home, I swapped out my VGA cable for a HDMI cable. Purely because it's digital rather than analog, and normally get a better connection to my monitors, and it's easier. Sometimes the VGAs can be a little bit temperamental, a little bit. Sometimes you get a little bit of crackling, a little bit of picture delay and things. So I swapped them out, and now I've got a DVI and a HDMI connection to both my monitors at home. But obviously, it depends on what you've got. And also make sure that if you did bring your dock home, make sure you brought your power adapter with your dock, because your dock might be running off your laptop battery, which won't be good for either your laptop or the dock. So you might run out of juice rather quickly. And sometimes the charger for your laptop isn't the same for your dock. Your dock normally requires a much bigger charger with a much higher wattage. So make sure you guys have got both your laptop charger and your dock charger, because they will more likely be different. Again, I had the same experience. My laptop charger is about a quarter of the size of my dock charger. So I know they're different, and I know they'll give you different results. So just make sure you've got the right charger, guys. Otherwise, you could be having some problems with your dock, or your laptop might be running out of juice, or things might not be working on your dock as you expect them to. So that's always a good thing to remember. David, what have we got from David? I'm worried about security whilst I'm away from the office. Do you have any advice and solutions that will help me keep my work secure whilst I'm working remotely? Great question, David. There's a number of solutions. Off the bat, you've got just the built-in, from a security point of view, you've got the built-in encryption through Windows. You've got BitLocker, which will encrypt your laptop. That won't necessarily stop it from being unsecure. That would just mean that if anything happens to your laptop whilst you're at home or whilst you're away from the office, you know that your laptop is encrypted. And again, for the Mac boys, and girls, you've got FileVault. And again, FileVault does exactly the same thing, encrypts your entire operating system, entire hard drive, so that if in doubt that your laptop was to come into the wrong hands, you know that it's protected and the data on that is protected. Obviously, once the laptop's open and things is working, antivirus and obviously anything security products are going to be what's going to be protecting you once your laptop's on and connected to the network and the internet. Things like Panda's a great one. They provide full sort of, they call it like a 360 product, which protects your services on your laptop, files, emails, things like that, just from any malicious attacks, and it will stop it there and then, and it will email your IT team if it finds anything that's not working properly or as it should be. From that, they can then identify what the service was and what the service is that's trying to start, and whether that's a legitimate service or not, and go from there as to whether they need to allow that or investigate why your machine is doing something it shouldn't be doing, or trying to start a service or run a program that you haven't told it to run. But yeah, if he's out of the office, he might want to be looking at trying to connect into the office through a secure means. And obviously that might be something like a VPN with Duo layered over the top of it. So Duo will give you two-factor authentication or any sort of multi-authentication through a third-party app. And then the VPN on top of that could be SSL, L2TP, you name it. It can, depending on your firewalls in your office, what your licensings are like, what license you have available, it will then allow you to choose one or the other. It depends on, at the moment, I would assume that a lot of people are trying to connect into people's offices, so they might find that they've had to purchase more licenses or temporarily purchase additional SSL key licenses for their firewall so that they can then have more people connecting into the office. Alternatively, they might have had to beef up their internet lines to allow that number of connections on their internet line, because I don't think anybody was going to be expecting this number of people to work from home. And again, people's home internet might not be up to scratch if they've, to now start working full time with everybody at home working. Luckily, my wife doesn't need internet to do her job, but other people might not be in the same situation. There might be multiple people in your office, in your home, trying to connect, and that could be putting a strain on things like your internet at home and other resources. So, you might need to speak to your provider and just see if you can increase your internet for a period of time, just whilst this whole, corona situation is happening. Catherine, my laptop's running out of storage. I'm struggling to save my current work. I want to buy a new laptop, but I don't know what the best brand is for storage. Do you have any advice? Oh, Catherine, storage. Oh, it's an inevitable thing, storage. People love to use it. People love to abuse it half the time. There is plenty of brands out there. I recommend Western Digital or Seagate. It's my two sort of go-to brands, or they offer great little portable drives you can use for storing it. They're normally connected via USB, and most laptops nowadays have at least one USB port on them. The Apple Mac guys, they might need to go and buy an adapter because Apple have taken those away from all the new laptops. But no, any Western Digital or Seagate little USB hard drives. Lacey do a couple of nice ones as well. If you're into more of your aesthetics, then just a plasticky looking black hard drive to plug in. They normally start from about 500 gig to a couple of terabytes, quite easily and quite cheap. Let's just do that a second. Sorry about that. But yeah, or if you need a cloud storage, you might be using things like OneDrive, or to want to upload your data, you can use things like Dropbox. I don't know whether what your company's policies are. Some companies don't like to use third-party storage apps, so you might have to speak to your IT team about what solutions they might come up with. Google Drive is a good one. They offer unlimited storage over the first 5 users, and Box, I believe, do as well. But I think I think you might need to have a certain number of users. But speak to our IT team. If you don't always have an IT team, you come speak to us, and we can obviously advise on what you've currently got and whether we can look at expanding your existing services to include things like storage for your computers at home, or alternatively looking at ways that we can expand your storage in your machines at home. You can even upgrade your hard drives at home if you wanted to do such a thing. But easiest thing would either be to go and buy a external hard drive. I think Amazon might be still doing deliveries. I'm not 100% sure whether what the delivery times are like. I know I've been still getting a few things through the post, so I would hope that they are still out there pushing away and getting down to business and still providing the needy services that we all want and we all love from Amazon. Who's next? Liam. Liam, hi. We've just lost a few of our IT staff due to company cuts. Do you have any advice about how to manage a team of 45 whilst being away from the office in this time? Liam must be under a lot of pressure. 45 people outside the office wanting IT support, and he's in a tough situation. And it's Liam, you can contact us. We can certainly help with you. We've got a team here that can happily get involved with those guys and give you some tech support, and look after your systems and help those guys out there with some remote tools that we have. We can remotely connect your machines, we can control them, we can look after them, make sure they're not running out of space, make sure that they're up to date with antivirus and patches, and just make sure that no one's got any problems with their batteries or anything like that. It can make sure there's nothing untoward running on them and all those kind of things. Make sure the firewalls are on, all those kind of things that you guys want to have on your machine, especially when you've got them connecting back into your office from your homes. You want to make sure that that all the security features are on and enabled and doing what they should be doing. It's not a great time if you to start having problems where you've got people's machines connecting in who have got malicious software on them, or they're not working properly, and that starts causing more problems for the office. That just won't help anyone at the moment in time. So make sure to check your settings, make sure you've got your latest and greatest updates for antivirus, and make sure your firewalls are on and all configured and working. And obviously, if they're not, reach out to your IT team. Or if IT team aren't available, you feel free to contact us. We can help you with those kind of things. But yeah, I don't think we've got anybody else. Just having a quick look, make sure see if anybody else is in. Doesn't look like that, guys. But thank you very much for your time. It's been great talking to everybody. And obviously out there, guys, keep safe, and we will chat to you soon. Thank you very much. Bye.